Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Claw and the King podcast. I am joined by my co-host Dopey, and he's a bit sick today. He just reminded me. So if he's a bit off his game, just forgive him. I know it's a new setup. It's a new house. You know, we're expanding. Obviously, you know, we're such a multi-corporational podcast at this point that we just have to film at so many locations because we're just buying so much property. So that's why the location change. It could be permanent location change. Probably is. We might adjust the camera angle a bit. We'll experiment with it a bit. But how are you today, my friend?
Yeah, I'm all right. As you said, I'm a little bit sick. So if you see me grimacing or anything throughout this show, just
It could be because of my takes, or it could be just he's in pain. It could be either one.
pain. But yeah, I'm doing all right. Getting through it. I mean, yeah, as you said, in a new location, we've now got an empire, I guess you could say, that we're running. So that's just the perks of being a successful,
Of course, yeah.
businessman.
That's
really
what happens. That's what happens when you're as on point on our knowledge of the sporting world as we are. Anyway, what topic would you like to delve into first, my lord?
Yeah, well, in the sporting world, I guess we'll get into the Premier League to start off with. Obviously, returning following the World Cup. Everyone's loving it. Obviously, football's probably at its most popular than it's been in a while, I'd say. Obviously, Haaland's back playing, so everyone's loving that. But yeah, a couple of interesting things when the Prem returning. I mean, obviously, Arsenal are doing well. City are not doing as well, I think, as some people would have thought. And then, obviously, United are doing well.
Oh, God, it's beautiful to see. It's kind of the old Premier League is back, you know, in the 2000s when it was Arsenal and United reigning over these peasants that we call Man City nowadays. But yeah, it's a really interesting Premier League, I think, at this current moment. The past couple of years, it's just been Man City, Liverpool. It's been quite boring, especially from my perspective, because I don't want either of them to win. So it's kind of a lose-lose. As Gary Neville famously once said, it's like choosing between two blokes to shag your wife. So yeah, it's kind of a joy to see Newcastle coming up as well. So it's basically a 4-horse race at this moment. You could say it's a bit premature if you're United, but if we beat Arsenal and Man City in our upcoming games, it could definitely a title race could definitely be on for us. So yeah, the four teams are kind of in the mix right now. It's City, Arsenal, Newcastle, and United. Newcastle and United are on the same amount of points. But we had a couple stinkers early in the year. I remember we lost quite handily to Brentford, if I recall. So that's why our goal difference is in the shitter, so to speak. So, yeah, we're currently fourth at the moment, but tied on goal difference for third. And we just progressed to the Carabao Cup semi-finals, which is obviously great news to hear. And Man City got knocked out this morning, actually, when this podcast is being filmed. So, yeah, an absolutely fantastic month or two of football. It's like a dream almost. I've been watching that much shit for so long, and then I'm actually seeing players play with like talented players play. It's not like I'm watching a bunch of scrubs run around. Yeah, what's your opinion? Obviously, you're a fake Man United fan. I mean,
I'm a casual fan for sure, especially now that Ronaldo's gone way back into the casual stuff.
Oh yeah, he was like watching highlights when Ronaldo was in. Now he's not even watching highlights. Now I kind of
especially not Carabao Cup highlights. Come on. But yeah, it's obviously nice to see when they're doing well. I do think it's probably a little bit of fool's gold. I mean, I can't see them challenging for a title if I'm being honest. But
why not? We've got Casemiro and
because
Varane.
They're just so far behind.
I don't think we're that far behind. We're single digits points, and if we beat Arsenal, now obviously if we lose to Arsenal City, we're not in it. But if we beat those two teams, I think we're definitely in it. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I still can't really see it, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have been saying, even though Arsenal have been leading the league pretty much the whole year, everyone's just been saying it's a matter of time before City catch them.
They look dodgy.
Arsenal are going to become dodgy, but I think it's almost safe to say they're probably favourites at this point to win.
Definitely.
Because City, they're good, but they haven't been as dominant as people had expected.
Well, yeah, they're looking really dodgy at the moment. Like I just said, they lost in the Carabao Cup to Southampton, who was bottom of the league. They beat Chelsea 1-0, which was really it was a really dodgy performance from them, to be honest. Chelsea are in shambles at the moment themselves, and the fact that they only beat them 1-0, they look really inconsistent at the moment. I don't know if they have the firepower that they once had, even last year. I mean, yeah, You look at Foden, he's not really performing, and they're sort of relying on him once Jesus left, and obviously they lost a couple of players in the offseason. They needed the existing players to step up, and it doesn't seem like they have done. Now, they're still a great team, but I think the inconsistencies that you're seeing is quite uncharacteristic for this Man City team, and yeah, it's quite shocking, to be honest, and the fact that Arsenal are looking the most consistent team and composed team is shocking within itself, because they finished 8th and 5th running up, and they've had really no experience of challenging. And usually, in order to be a consistent team, you usually have to sort of step up the ladder. You got to go from being shit to maybe 4th, then to 2nd and 3rd a couple of times, then going to 1st. But they've just rocketed all the way from 5th to 1st, and it's really good performances coming out of the Gunners, so to speak.
I mean, I think I remember you saying it at the start of the season, when Arsenal won a couple games and their fans were going, "Oh, we're going to win the league." You said, "No, Arsenal's shit. They're going to not even finish top 4. You guys have to shut up."
Yeah, but that's just rivalry, you know. That's just
you were pretty confident in your prediction that they were not even going to make top 4.
Yeah, but anyone would. No, I never said they wouldn't make top 4. I do remember picking them in my top 4, or right outside. But yeah, I remember saying Man United were going to do shit. And I remember saying that Arsenal were going to be much improved. I think I didn't expect Jesus to have the impact that he's had. And he's injured now, so that's obviously a damage to Arsenal's sort of hope over the next couple games, especially. But yeah, it's just a kind of a surprise to everyone. I think even if you ask the most staunch Arsenal fans, even if you look on like AFTV with Ty, who Ty is? Yeah, I mean, even he would have been a bit optimistic. I mean,
is Ty the one with the beanie?
Yeah, he's the one that said that Arsenal would win the quadruple.
Was he the one complaining when like the pitch was wet?
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, it was raining. We lost because it was raining. Yeah, Ty's a bit of a legend, but yeah, even he, I don't think would have foreseen this coming or predicted this coming. It's kind of a shock. But look, it's thoroughly deserved. They must have. I think they've lost one game, and it was to us, all season. So. Yeah, look, I think they got a really tough fixture run now. In saying that, I think they got City as well. They got us. They got Spurs, and I think that might be in a row as well. So I don't anticipate them to be, 8 points clear or 7 or 6 points clear. No, actually, it's 5 points clear. Sorry, they changed because they dropped points the other week. So yeah, I think they're 5 points clear. I don't anticipate them being 5 point clear after the next couple fixtures, but. In saying that, look, if they can get a result against the big boys, then they're definitely leaders in that title race.
Yeah, all right. Anything else to chat about in the world of football?
World of football. Obviously, we went on the Ronaldo thing, and he had to release. Actually, no, Man United transfer business. I could give you a bit of an insight into my scouring of Twitter. Wout Weghorst is rumoured to be soon a Manchester United player. He currently plays for Besiktas. Before that, Burnley, where he scored 2 goals in 20 games in the Premier League. So he's our striker solution. He's a big guy. He scored.
Wait, what's wrong with Martial or Rashford?
Well, we don't have any depth. Rashford isn't. If you watch the games, you would understand Rashford isn't a striker. He's a winger.
But he's literally scoring all his goals.
Yeah, that's what wingers can do that though. So wingers can score goals too.
But he plays as a striker. He doesn't. He makes a run through the middle.
No, he doesn't. He plays as a winger. See, this is why it's hard to have these discussions because he doesn't watch the games.
Was that really casual?
Yeah, it was. That was very casual. But yeah, Martial's our only striking option at the moment, and you do know he's injury prone, so he is partial to an. Martial is partial to an injury.
Anthony Martial, as Speed would say.
Yeah. So yeah, he's partial to an injury. So Wout Weghorst, famously sort of ranted about by Mark Goldbridge, who did a FIFA career mode. I love Mark Goldbridge, so he did a famous sort of quote about Wout Weghorst being a name in a Harry Potter character, or
what?
Because Wout Weghorst sounds like a Harry Potter character. It sounds like a
does it?
Wout Weghorst. It kind of does,
Maybe.
to be honest. But yeah, more on the player. He's a big guy. I think he's 6'6". He scored a couple goals for the Dutch in the World Cup. He's in good form for Besiktas, and hopefully he can bring some of that goal scoring form.
Isn't the transfer window over?
It's again very. It's January, so they have a summer transfer window and a winter.
It's a January window. True.
Yeah, it is January. Yeah, you do know the date.
January window normally nothing big happens.
In the past, Chelsea are spending big. They got João Felix.
They signed him
from Atletico they paid 11 million for him, plus
that's it, 11 million.
Plus covering his entire salary for a 6-month loan.
What?
And he hasn't lit the world on fire at Atletico either. So the fact that they did that was
6-month loan.
Yeah, for a 6-month loan, no obligation to buy, no option, no buy clause.
Well, Atletico paid 100, didn't they?
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, still, he's not worth anywhere near 100. And Chelsea want to spend 11 million on a 6-month loan, plus covering his 300 grand a week wages. Not the smartest of deals, in my opinion.
Well, he's got potential, so.
Yeah, but he's not your player, so it doesn't matter. It's like, well, we got him for potential. Well, you're not going to see his potential be realised because you've got him for 6 months. And I don't think he's going to be he's going to solve anything. They're in shambles right now. Chelsea fans are singing Thomas Tuchel's name in the stands. It's just a nightmare at Chelsea at the moment. I think they're 10th. They're just absolute nightmare at the moment. Absolute. They can't create a goal to save their lives. The defence is shit. I mean, it's just everything shit for Chelsea. It's like Man United last year. They thought they were going to be contending, and it turns out they are in the mud, which is... I don't have any hate for Chelsea. They were a rival of Manchester United in the late 2000s, but yeah, they're nothing like... I hate Arsenal and City and Liverpool a lot more, so I'm not like, oh my God, Chelsea's shit, but yeah, it's kind of weird how their transfer policy is. They've spent so much money recently with their new owners, but yeah, hopefully Man United get Wout Weghorst in the door.
That's it. That's all they're going for. Is Jude going to Liverpool?
It's not confirmed. He'd make a move in the summer. I'm expecting. So yeah, hopefully Jude comes to United, but I don't think he will.
No, he won't for sure. Definitely not.
Well, I'd hope. Look, I'm a massive Jude fan, so I'm hoping that he would.
Hey
Jude. It's a Liverpool song.
They're gonna sing. Oh, is it?
Yeah, so it's not.
It's a Beatles song.
Well, they're from Liverpool, so it's
just every Beatles song in Liverpool.
Yeah, essentially. Okay. So yeah, it's not a great look. That the sort of rumours are so tightly linked to Liverpool and Real Madrid specifically. Those are the two clubs that are looking like the front runners at the moment. Man United, I don't think are even in the race, which is not great because I think he'd be perfect for us to fit alongside Casemiro.
Well, you have to fork out 100 probably.
More than probably 120 probably. Yeah, but he's worth it. Look how young he is. Look how talented. I mean, he was one of England's best players, if not their best, in the World Cup. And yeah, he's just not gonna come to United probably, which is a very, very sad thing.
You're talking about you got Casemiro, the greatest midfielder of
all
time.
Yeah, he's a great... The Arsenal fans, again, just rant on about how Partey's better than him. And I'm like, mate...
Partey.
Yeah, it's like, bro, stop. He's nowhere near. He couldn't lace his boots. Partey's a very good player. I saw this TikToker. I actually quite like him. He's an Arsenal fan who did like top 3 of every position from Man City, Arsenal, and Man United, and he got pelters for it. He's an Arsenal fan. And he put Casemiro third at CDM. He put Partey and Rodri ahead of him. He put like Varane last. He put like Martinez. It was just an absolute shocker of a list. But yeah, I think Casemiro is definitely the best CDM in the Prem, if not the world at the moment. His form is just unbelievable. The way he's influencing games, and it's not a coincidence. We buy basically him and Martinez as the main. I mean, I know we bought Malacia and stuff, and Anthony, but the main impact players, Martinez and Casemiro, and all of a sudden we're title contending. So being nowhere near. Well, I mean, at least we're solid top 4 at the moment, and we were nowhere near that last season with arguably people say a better team, Sancho, Ronaldo.
Sancho's still there,
Yeah, but he's not playing. He's doing he's got a bit of a holiday. He's doing a bit of one-on-one skills. He's not even playing at the moment.
Back to the basics, a bit of cone drills.
Yeah, a bit of cone drills. Get that mental right. You're only making 250 grand a week, so.
Well, if you pay me $250K to dribble through some cones, I'll do that.
Oh, would you?
I would.
Yeah. Well, actually, why would you do that? This podcast makes like $1 million a week, dude.
It would, but I'd take the extra $250 to dribble through some cones.
You don't need it. But anyway, moving on.
We'll switch lanes to the NBA. I think we're pretty much bang on the halfway mark of the season now, of the NBA. So I think we'll go through and give out our mid-season awards for the various awards for what's happened throughout the season thus far. Is there something you want to start with in particular?
Well, I think we should go in terms of the most important to the least important.
Start with most important?
Yeah, start with MVP.
Okay.
So yeah, obviously my MVP of this current season. There's a couple to choose from. Jokic. People that vote for Jokic are just fucking nerds. Honestly,
there's fatigue in MVP voting. Once you win 2,
bro, stop. Oh, look at his fucking VYZ XG or whatever the fuck they use.
If LeBron only won 4, you can only have 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Kobe won 1. You're not having 3.
Yeah.
You're not winning back to back to back. That just is ridiculous for Jokic. He's a great player, but I mean, come on. Yeah. Let's be real here. So yeah, my MVP it's between Giannis and Luka, but I've gone with Luka. The way that he's sort of influenced games recently, it's just unbelievable how great of a player he is. And the fact that the Mavs are even in the playoff. You look at that team and it's a fucking joke. Honestly, without Luka, that is a terrible team.
It's not a terrible team.
It's
Christian
awful.
Wood's a good player.
He was on the Rockets last year, and they sucked.
Yeah,
it's not like he's influencing wins.
No, but he's a good player.
He's a decent 6 man.
Dinwiddie's a good player.
Again, not. He's a 6 man on a contending team. He's not. Yeah. He's not anything more than that. And that's it. I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith, you've got there.
Reggie Bullock.
Reggie Bullock. He was cut by the Clippers.
I fucking hate watching those because Reggie Bullock was dog shit on the Lakers. Absolute brick merchant, and then he just goes to Dallas and he's fucking best shooter in the league.
It's because they got Luka. He's got an actual guy that can play basketball. Well, I know your players can play basketball when they can, but I mean, like physically, they can't play because they're injured all the time. I know they've got the talent to, but they just physically can't. But yeah, I think that Dallas team is an absolute joke, frankly, and the fact that they haven't surrounded him with better talent by now, while he's not making basically any money, is beyond me. They're paying all these. I think Dorian Finney-Smith is on like 50 mil or something. Like, what are you doing? Go out and get a superstar for Luka. But yeah, in saying that, his stats have been unbelievable this year. He's getting, I mean, he just that 60 point, 20 rebound, 10 assist game is just ridiculous. And I feel bad for Donovan Mitchell because he had a great game like a couple of days
70
later.
Points.
But no one cared. It actually happened. Well, it happened on the same day. We'll go to NFL later in the show. But it happened on the same day that did you see it? The DeMar Hamlin. He got like a scary. I think he passed away for a couple times before they sort of was able to resuscitate him, which is obviously great news. But yeah, it happened on the same day as Donovan Mitchell. So for him, the news was, especially American sports media, was all about DeMar Hamlin, which it should have been. But yeah, that 70-point game I felt got probably the least publicity in history. I mean, Devin Booker's 70-point game where the team was literally fouling at the end of the game.
And Phoenix were like 9-70.
Yeah, and they were losing by like 20. Yeah. And Donovan Mitchell did it in overtime in a game-winning sort of fashion. So yeah, it's probably the least publicized 70-point game you'll ever see in your life. But yeah, he's a dark horse, but I wouldn't say he's anywhere near the MVP at this point. But yeah, he could be in the most improved if you want to put it in that category. I haven't, but yeah, Luka's my MVP.
Yep, I've got to go Luka as well. I think this is his year. I mean, it feels like for the last 2 or 3 years I've been picking Luka to win MVP. And he's been the odds-on favourite to start each of the last 3 seasons, I think. But the problem is he usually starts slow because he's fat in the off-season. So it usually takes him 2 or 3 months. He's
drinking beers. He's in Slovakia or Slovenia, wherever he is, and just sinking them.
Yeah, but obviously in this off-season they had the EuroLeague or whatever, so he's been staying in shape, and he's come in and he's just not fucked around. He's averaging 33 or something?
Something ridiculous.
So yeah, for sure, him leading that team to the 5th seed or whatever they are at the moment, he's definitely the front runner for me. Yeah, it's something special we're watching. I think it's safe to say Luka is this generation's LeBron. He is the unicorn player.
I wouldn't say he's LeBron. I'd say he's...
No, but I mean the one player that goes into the greatest of all time conversation when they're done.
That's tough. I'd put him more in the Kobe category. I think a lot of people thought Devin Booker was the next Kobe, and I was like, mate,
but Kobe was that player of his generation. It's like Michael, Kobe, LeBron, Luka.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I could see it. Definitely. But he has to win, and he has to have has a team around him. But yeah, it is almost LeBron-like how he's just absolutely like nobody has any answers. Nobody can do anything. He's picking who he wants.
He's so slow, but he's
fundamentally so unbelievable. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I don't know how he does it. It's almost like the defender works at his pace. It's almost like just by him being slow, everyone around him is slow. And he just sort of abuses one-on-one matchups. So yeah, what's the next one you'd like to do? Do you reckon? Do you want to? You can segue on to the next one.
Defensive player.
Let's have a look. Yeah, we can do defensive player of the year. Defensive player of the year for you.
Okay, defensive player for me. Anthony Davis.
Get off it. He's injured.
No, I'm joking. Ben Simmons.
Thank God. I mean, even that.
No, not Ben Simmons. My defensive player of the year.
Are you just riffing this off the top?
Yeah, I'm going to have to think about this one. Who's even in the race right now? I feel like people are saying Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon is in the race. A lot of people are saying... Well, I think a lot of people are sort of realising that this is his best role and he's playing really efficiently.
Man, he is fucking posterising people.
Yeah, so he's doing well. But I could give you mine. Obviously, there's Rudy Gobert in the mix.
No, there's not.
You could go for a cheeky Rudy. Probably the worst trade in NBA history. Not that we've covered that on this podcast before. We haven't talked about it like at all.
That's news to me that he's shit.
But yeah, there's a couple in the race. There's Brook Lopez has been talked about a lot because of his high block stats. Jaren Jackson Jr. Obviously, Ben Simmons is actually being talked about, so that wasn't a bad off the riff one. But I've gone with Giannis. It's you could argue it's kind of a sympathy vote for him not winning the MVP because of how great he's been, and he does deserve more MVPs in my opinion because of how great he has been over the past couple of years. But yeah, he defensively, I've always judged the defensive player on who's the best defender. When I look who's the best defender, like it doesn't matter what your blocks expected per game is or whatever the fuck those stupid stats are. The way that Rudy Gobert just managed to win defensive player every year, which infuriated me. But I've over the years said Kawhi was the best defender in the league. I've said Drew Holiday was my defensive player of the year. Guys like that, guys that you watch and they just lock down defensively. And in my opinion, Giannis, he's just so absolutely dominant in terms of his defensive ability. And even if a small guy brushes by him, he'll just block him. He's that long and that athletic. And big guys, he's so strong at the moment, there's no one can score on him. In my opinion, it's Giannis, simply because when I watch him defensively, he is absolutely elite. He gets defensive rebounds at a high rate. He blocks at a high rate. He gets in the passing lanes. He's obviously very active in that as well. So, yeah, I'd have Giannis as my MVP defensive player of the year. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, when you mention Giannis as a defensive player, there's only one player that can be mentioned in that conversation as well, and that's Patrick Beverley.
Oh God, here we go.
So
I thought you called him overrated.
Pat Bev said it himself. It's Giannis and me.
Oh,
all right, when he went on ESPN.
What was that thing where he brought up someone else's stats that were
when I'm defending you, it feels like Giannis is defending you.
Yeah, it was like literally pulled up Giannis' stats, pulled up his stats, and Giannis' stats were better defensively. And he's like, well, it's kind of similar, so it's basically the same.
Yeah, no, Patrick Beverley is absolutely dog shit. He's been awful for us, but honestly, I want to take someone like Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, you could do that. Jaren Jackson Jr. is obviously
I like Mikal Bridges
because how well the Grizzlies are doing.
I hate the Grizzlies though. So
yeah, no, the media loves them, and I'm like, I just find them and I know that's controversial, but John Morant's interesting, but the rest of them, it's just like Memphis. No. It's just such a I just don't think they've got any legs in the playoffs. And look, I could be proven wrong, but I haven't been proven wrong yet. No. Coach of the year. Yeah. A couple options. I'll go with mine.
Yeah.
So I've gone Jacques Vaughn, the Brooklyn Nets coach. Just for the fact that he's turned around that shit up. I mean, how has he done that? I mean, that was, this proves how bad of a coach Steve Nash was. And we've harped on about how bad of a coach he was. And the media was like, no, they're just throwing him under the bus. Like Charles Barkley said that. They're just throwing him under the bus. He's proven to be a pretty terrible head coach. I mean, that's nothing against Steve. He's a great player, but he's just not up to it in terms of coaching ability. But yeah, Jacques Vaughn, how he's turned around and just dealt with that toxic situation in Brooklyn. Just KD wanting a trade. Kyrie, he said some Kanye West statements, shall we say. And then Ben Simmons just being an absolute flop until he arrived. Everything just being against him. And defensively, they've improved unbelievably. They look like a team that can defend. Offensively, I think offensively, it's like the best in league history. Some of the ratings and some of the numbers. So yeah, Jacques Vaughn, I don't think it's close for me. I know you could say they're probably going to put the Grizzlies coach or some stupid shit.
You say Sacramento.
Yeah, you could do New Orleans.
Is that Nate McMillan?
No, that's
coaching Sacramento?
Mike Brown.
Mike Brown, yeah.
With the beam. You could do
with
the beam.
But I hate Sacramento.
But yeah, you could do New Orleans with Willie Green. But
yeah,
I just think you could look. The Brooklyn Nets do have talent, and everyone said this. But the fact that he's in such a short period of time brought all those players together and played them, and they're playing in such a cohesive way, it's just an unbelievable achievement for him. And I think the Nets are showing that they're real contenders when they were absolutely out of it at the start of the season.
Yeah, I think Jacques Vaughn has to be the leader at this point. Completely turn them around from being they were outside the play.
I mean, Ben Simmons can play basketball. It's like frightening.
Yes, he's still not offensively.
Yeah, it's still like still haven't improved.
He's still airballing 3-4.
But it's not
shots.
2 points a game. So
it's about 5. So,
but defensively, he's okay. I'm trying to find something.
I think also shout out to Darvin Ham.
Oh, God. See, this is why when he doesn't know anything, he just reverts back to the Lakers. I don't know who's Anthony Davis.
I do think Jacques Vaughn is good, but I do think Darvin Ham's also done a good job from where we were to get us back into the mix.
He was a coach from where you were before, so it's not like
he's turned it around.
Jacques Vaughn has turned it around without having the terrible
Jacques Vaughn was
12 start or whatever.
He was involved in he was an assistant for that.
Yep, the assistant doesn't call plays. The assistant doesn't run the game.
Couldn't he have told Steve, listen, mate, I know how to do it?
I think that's what got Steve fired. He probably went up to the front office and was like, hey, this guy is a pathetic coach. Just let me have a go.
Okay, Jacques.
Okay, buddy. Okay.
Coach of the year. I think it's pretty standard at this point.
The Celtics coach is being talked as well.
That guy.
His name's Joe Mazzulla.
Joe Mazzulla, yeah.
So yeah, he's talked about a bit. Obviously they've had a bit of tumultuous sort of start to the season with their coach being involved in some extracurricular activities.
What would have happened if Brooklyn signed him?
Look, they probably would have been a fine coach team, but I don't think he's a bad coach. I just think he doesn't show the greatest moral. He doesn't set a great moral standard for his players. Let's just put it that way. I think, Brooklyn, Jesus Christ, him and Kyrie together, my God, the moral standards of that place would be in the floor. So yeah, I think he's up there, but the talent that they've got head to toe is ridiculous. I don't know Brooklyn do, but they don't have the depth that Boston has. So it's kind of like if you've got a decent basketball brain and you're not sleeping with your assistants, you can do a decent job in Brooklyn. So I wouldn't rate him sort of like that. So yeah, 6th man of the year. Let me guess, Russell Westbrook.
That's a good guess.
And I'm going to go for it.
I think Westbrook actually is for sure in the conversation.
Yeah, he's in the convo.
Because whether you like him or not, he's averaging 15, 7 and 7 off the bench.
He's getting paid $50 million to do it, so he better be good at it.
And those are pretty much the best stats in the league off the bench. So I think he is the 6th man. He's actually playing positive basketball. When he's on the floor, he's not a complete train wreck of a turnover, brick merchant. I have some semblance of confidence in him when he comes on the floor. He at least gets to the rack well now. Shooting a little bit more consistently, so it's not a. I think he's played well. So good on him. I think he deserves this award.
Yeah. I'll go Bobby Portis for me. He's put up some really good numbers off the bench. The sixth man of the year, there isn't a standout, I don't think, this year.
No, there's no Lou Will or Jamal Crawford or...
Yeah, Jordan Clarkson last year. There's not a guy that's putting up 20, 22, 23 points a game off the bench.
Jordan Clarkson, that guy's a menace.
So yeah, I go with Bobby Portis. He's playing well. Defensively, he's great. He's a heart and soul of that city. I think probably somebody like... I'd like Jose Alvarado. He's a bit of a cool guy. But I think someone like Malcolm Brogdon will win it. It'll be something. It'll be him or Russ, I'd imagine. So yeah, sixth man, it's not that interesting of an award this year because no one's really sort of standing out in that role. Rookie of the year.
Well, if it's anyone other than Paolo, I think you should just put a bullet in your brain right
Paolo. Now. There's a couple sort of decent rookies. The Indiana guy,
Matherin.
Yeah, he's playing well. Look,
Paolo literally looks like an all-star already.
Well, there was a lot of controversy with that pick. People were saying Jabari Smith should have been ahead of him because of what's that sweating thing that he had in college where he lost like 10 kilos a friggin' basketball game because he was sweating so much, and he had to have this special formula in his Gatorade to keep him freaking alive. So yeah,
why would you take someone with that?
Yeah, why'd you take a guy that can't even run up and down a court without dying? Yeah. But no, he's a very talented player, and he's shown it this year. He looks unbelievable. He's really weird sort of player. I don't think there's been a player like him.
No, he doesn't fit the current mold really.
Yeah, because he's clearly not a 3, in my opinion.
He's a 4.
He's a 4, but he's an elite scorer at the 4 that we haven't really seen. In terms of he's kind of like Anthony Bennett, if he was good. Like what the Cavs dreamed Anthony Bennett would be, it's Paolo Banchero. Stretch 4 that can bang inside as well. It's a bit of Cavs probably looking back, oh, that could have been Anthony Bennett. Look, see, it wasn't a terrible pick. So yeah, Paolo's definitely rookie of the year for me. There's no question about it. Even though the Magic do suck, it's still
they suck, but they got it
talent
together.
They got some talent.
Their squad is good.
Have you seen that stat about Jonathan Isaac? How he hasn't played
like
in
3 years.
3 years? Bro, come on, he's got to be skipping it at this point.
Yeah, like how does an ACL take 3 years?
I think he signed an extension right before it. It's like $120 million. Yeah. And he's like, sorry lads, I'm injured for 4 years.
He's got to be taking the piss.
Even Klay Thompson injured his like Achilles in one leg, like tore his Achilles in one leg, and then tore his ACL in the other, and came back quicker than this guy.
Yeah,
what's going on? I mean, is there money laundering going on? Does he owe money to the mafia? I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
It's got to be something.
Apparently, he's coming to the G League soon. So
he's been coming back soon for 3 years. You cannot be injured for 3. It's physically impossible.
I don't know.
People literally have like strokes and don't have the function of their legs and have to learn how to walk, and it takes less time. It'd take less time to run around on a basketball court for those people than for this guy.
Maybe he's just load managing.
There's load managing.
He wants to load manage until his prime kicks in. So let's not waste all this progression and shit.
Yeah, let's stop with that.
Let's wait till I'm in my prime.
Let's sign my $100 million contract first. Let's get it right. And then I'll just sit on the sideline. And trust me, by that last year, it'll be all worth it. Yeah, it's probably like
Kawhi is onto it.
Are the Magic making the playoffs this year? No. I don't really feel like it.
Are you guys sure you want to waste a year of my prime? Like, yeah. It's only worth it if we're going to win the championship.
Yeah, I'm only playing if he's a Kawhi 2.0. I'm only playing if it's meaningful games. I'll only play on prime time and playoff games. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an interesting sort of thing. Most improved. There's a couple actually. I think there's probably usually the 6 man's probably the more interesting, but I think this is the most interesting award.
I reckon De'Aaron Fox maybe.
See, I think Lowry's the obvious one. Lowry Markkanen.
Oh,
not Kyle Lowry. Jesus, not that fat fuck. Jesus,
that guy's most improved.
No, not
He's
him.
most regressed.
Yeah, most regressed of the season. Most overpaid of the season, Kyle Lowry. But yeah, I think Lowry's the obvious choice, in my opinion. But I've got a soft spot for this player because he played for us his rookie season.
Shea.
Yeah, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, Lowry, you could say in terms of like going from, Lowry went from a player that was nowhere, that was probably out of the league in 2-3 years, a guy that was going to get 8 minutes a night, to an all-star contender. So you could say the biggest golf in improvement is Lowry, and that's why he should deserve to win the award. But in my personal opinion, Shea has gone from a guy that's a borderline all-star in the West, not really a consideration, to a guy that's maybe in a year's time an MVP candidate. And if you get some good players around him, could be a number one option on a championship team. That's what he's looking like at the moment. I don't love his jump shot, and I hate saying it's the same with Tyrese Haliburton.
But it goes in. So.
I know it's so slow and annoying, but he's such an unbelievable player in terms of his efficiency as well. He's really, really efficient. And the Thunder team, even though they're not that great, they're still winning. I mean, they smacked up the Celtics by like 50 or something.
That was without him.
Yeah, without it. Well, yeah, that was without him. But still, I think his improvement from a fringe all-star player to an MVP contender is probably the best thing about him at the moment. So, yeah, that's why I'd probably pick him as the most improved for me personally. And look, you could go with different options. You could go with Tyrese Haliburton. You could go with Domantas Sabonis is even an option. You could go with a bunch of different guys. But in my opinion, Shea's sort of... I think it's so hard to go from that fringe because Bradley Beal has been on that fringe all-star his entire career.
But the argument with Shea is I would say where he is right now is a Bradley Beal position where he's averaging 30 plus on a shit team. So, and Bradley Beal has never become more than that.
Yeah, but you could argue that, but I think you've got to give him time. And I think Bradley Beal, when Bradley Beal was doing this like 4 or 5 years ago, when he first signed that, I can't remember exactly, but I remember he signed a big-time contract before his recent Supermax. He signed a big-time contract when he wasn't supposed to, people thought the Wizards overpaid because he was injury-prone and he was injured all the time, and it wasn't a good contract. But after that, he improved massively. You could argue around that time he was probably one of the more valuable players in the NBA because of his age and his ability to score 29, 30 points a game. But yes, the Bradley Beal situation, it's mainly because of how bad the Wizards are. I don't think you can blame him specifically, but I also think Shea's doing it a lot more efficiently than Bradley Beal ever did. I think Bradley Beal is much more of a volume shooter than Shea. And in the modern NBA, when efficiency is key, I think Shea fits into that a lot better. And I just think Bradley Beal got surrounded by a lot of bad players for a long time, or a lot of mediocre players for a long time. And he never really had a desire to leave, so he never improved. So yeah, I think he's much more on the Damian Lillard sort of trajectory than the Bradley Beal one. Yeah,
potentially. That's a good shout. I think someone like De'Aaron Fox is also in consideration. I think over Sabonis even, because Sabonis has been a 2-time All-Star prior to this.
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox last year was the worst season of his career. Most people were writing him off, saying, "What are you doing? Getting rid of Haliburton and keeping Fox."
People thought Haliburton was... I mean, Haliburton's also been most improved as well. He's been unbelievable.
I think that trade's pretty much a win-win now, but...
maybe.
Yeah, Fox has been really good. He's probably going to be an all-star this year, or maybe, I don't know. Could be an all-star this year, and he's actually playing winning basketball. They're above 500 at the moment, so I think that contributes to it as well. But yeah, I think with Shea, OKC, I reckon they got to just trade some of these picks.
No, I think they will. I think they've got so many
because they're going to waste at the moment. They're going to waste him if they just wait 5 years.
Well, they're definitely going to trade him. I think they've got so many young players at the moment. I sort of envision them sort of making a big time move for a superstar, and I think that's what Presti wants to do anyway. They've got all these picks, and I think they'll package all these young players together, or a lot of them together, and sort of create a team with a superstar, a genuine superstar, and then you'd have Shea, and then you'd have Chet, hopefully,
and Giddey. You want to
keep Giddey as well. But you've got, I mean, you look at that team; it's so young. There's so many young players that just aren't getting enough game time, frankly, because they're playing like 10, 11 man deep and they're just rotating in and out all the time because they've got so much young talent coming through that can't get that much game time because they've got so much. So yeah, I think probably I'd envision maybe next season or the year after they'll make a big time trade. It should be then, to be honest. You don't.
2 years is a long time.
But who would be someone that you'd maybe make a trade for?
Honestly, it depends if Chet can prove to be a good NBA player that can stay healthy. Then you can look at getting a good wing. But if not, I would say target a big. But who could you even get? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe like a Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I think a guy that you'd probably not need an elite scorer because you've got Shea and Chet, who hopefully you envision that they would carry a lot of the scoring. But I don't. Would you see Jaylen Brown going to OKC?
Well, if he gets traded, there's not much you can do about it.
But I don't see Boston
wouldn't do that.
Blow that up. Obviously the NBA changes very quickly. So it's sort of a tough one. But I think OKC are in that kind of the point where they did it. It's like 2K. They traded for so many picks, and then you've got all these picks, and you don't know what to do with them. And they could go through the point of like trial and error. They could just be collecting so many young players and just doing such quick evaluations on them, and then sort of being brutal with it. And even if they draft a player in the first round and he sucks after a year, because they've got so many players I have to cut him, then they might have to do that. But yeah, they might go through the route of just en masse drafting so many players that surely 2 or 3 of them are going to turn out to be great players. So yeah, that might be their approach. I'm not too sure, but yeah, they're a scary team in the future. Because of Shea Gilgeous, in my opinion. All
right.
So yeah, is that it for the NBA?
Yeah, is there any more? I don't know.
No, there's not. There could be like executive of the year and that fucking
executive.
Bullshit. Like GM of the year.
Bus.
Oh god,
Rob Winker.
Worst GM of the year. You could go to give it to those clowns. So yeah, next topic.
The Australian Test summer has just wrapped up. So I guess we'll have a little review of what took place across the 5 tests, 2 series, 5 tests, a little bit different than normal. Obviously started with the West Indies and then finished with South Africa. But basically, if you didn't see it, Australia dominated every single match.
It's a fucking joke.
Absolute
fucking joke.
It was one of the more boring summers, I guess you could say, because it was competing at all.
It was so insufferable to watch as a neutral, honestly. I just wanted South Africa to put up a fight. They were praying for rain. They were praying to rain gods in the last test. I mean, thank God they got saved by that. I mean, Jesus. They were just awful. Absolutely abysmal. And look, Australia's bowling attack is elite. Let's not get it twisted, but they're bad. Their top order was a joke. I mean, how shocking are they? The tail enders batted better than them. The tail enders were better batters than the top enders.
Easily. Elgar's the captain, right?
Yeah.
He got out doing the same thing like 4 times.
He's a joke. He's so bad. He's like, I don't even know what he's like. What is there a test player like him? He's so nervous on the crease. He's like Rory Burns.
He's like Alistair Cook in 2015 when he got out like 8 times.
It's just like he's so nervous he can't do anything. He's prodding at the ball. He's just, oh my god, he's awful. Who else is crap? All of them.
I don't even know.
The bowlers did well in the first game. You're like, well, at least their bowling attack's good. And then they just let up like 500 run first innings totals in the 2 consecutive games.
But it's just, I don't know. Australia just has such a good team. Like every single player is just good. Like when you look at the batting lineup, every single player got a century at some point.
Yeah. Look, they did very well. I also think that South Africa's bowling attack was pretty shocking as well.
Yeah, maybe. But South Africa used to be like menacing.
Yeah.
They had Stain and
I think Rabada is very talented. They've got that lanky guy that's like 6 foot tall. Whatever his name is. he's like the best. He comes in number 5 because that's how bad they are. He's literally coming in at number 5.
Yeah. Nokia.
They got another one. Yeah, they got another guy. Like that. Ngidi. He's another one.
He was a lumpy old thing though.
Yeah, I think they're decent bowlers, but it just never suited them. And I think mentally they were like, well, these batters are just absolutely shocking. No matter we could keep them under 200 and we'd still be behind. So
we should just declare at 300 we'll win.
Yeah, they literally Australia. I think screwed it in the last game. They're like, why did you declare after 500 runs? Just declare after 200. Let them go in. Oh, if they're going to go past it, like Jesus. And then you can go as fast as you want in that second innings. But yeah, it's just an absolute joke how bad. I think they've gone over 200 like twice over the past 7 Test matches or something ridiculous.
7, wow.
Something ridiculous like that. And one of them was last innings. Not last innings. The first innings of the last Test. Yeah, they're an absolute joke. They are awful.
And they're ranked above England. So,
but if you put those two up against each other, England would fucking smash them. And look, our bowling attack is shit as well, but our batting is unbelievable. So with Bazball. So, and yeah, we talked about in the last podcast how I predicted this Ashes to be 2005. What was it? Was that 2005? The famous English Ashes? I can't remember. We were young. Forgive us. We were young little boys.
2009 is when you won.
In the UK. Yeah. The famous one where we overcame it. I don't think it was 2009. But anyway, I think it could be a historic series because of how the mentalities of both teams. Both teams, well, at least England want to score quickly. Australia have got a lot of attacking players like Davey Warner and Travis Head and all those lads. So, yeah, I think batting-wise will be one of the more entertaining ones that we've seen in a while. England, in sort of historically over the past couple Ashes, have been so defensive. It's not even funny. But now I think we're going to be a lot different, and hopefully the lads can come through and win the Ashes again.
Yeah.
Which hasn't been done for a while, but yeah, I think we've got the batting talent to do. So it's just whether Jofra can be helped. Yeah, that's another guy. Talk about Jonathan Isaac. This guy, he was the next best thing in the last Ashes that I haven't seen him play since. So yeah, he needs to get right and healthy, and hopefully he can sort of get back into the team. And Jimmy Anderson still
going.
Yeah, he's still.
There's no way he's doing another Ashes.
He's still got. Hopefully, you've got to love Jimmy. Jimmy in English conditions is a boss.
He has to be done.
There's no way. So yeah, but he's looking decent.
You know, you love cricket. I just think still playing.
Yeah, I think the main thing for us was we lack a world class spinner. I mean, I don't think Nathan Lyon is anywhere near his best anymore, but
no, he's still one of the best in the world.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him. I'd put so many Pakistani and Indian spinners against him. But yeah, I think that we really lack a good spinner. Leach isn't that good. Let's be real. He scored a great 1 run once at Headingley. So yeah, I think we need a much better spinner in the team, and I think we'll be a much more complete team. And hopefully, the Pommies can take it home.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
What about David Warner getting Player of the Series?
He didn't deserve it.
I know.
Why did
it's like Billy Slater winning Player of the Series in Origin.
What
a fucking shocking call. How can you give him Player of the Series?
Literally one good innings.
I think he made like single digits in the other 5 innings.
Yeah, I don't know how Marnus does not win that award, or a bowler.
Yeah, or Steve Smith or Khawaja, or I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't give it Khawaja, but
Travis Head, he was great.
Yeah, Travis Head. I think, it's between probably Marnus, Smith and Travis Head, definitely. I don't know how you can... I mean, I think it should definitely be Marnus. Screw that. The lowest the guy scored was 70, and he was like, oh my God, how did I... Oh my God, I've got it out at 70. Oh my God. And then South Africans are like, yes, we got it to 20. Oh my God, I made it past single-digit runs. Get in there. So yeah, that guy, he's just impossible to get out. So I would have given it to I don't know how Davey Warner won it. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone was watching it. I mean, by the time it was, you were either not watching.
Candace Warner decided who won it.
Yeah, it was like no one was in the crowd, no one cared. And who cared at the end? It was that big of a whitewash that no one cared. So yeah, hopefully the next Ashes is great and England can rise again.
Yep. All right. Moving on to some more controversial news that's been popping off recently. UFC president, one Dana White, is, if you haven't heard, he's been in the news recently, doing some promotion for his newest business venture.
What was that?
The Slap League.
Oh, the Slap League.
Did you see it?
Oh, that wasn't a joke.
No, so it's actually the most ironic thing is he's just created a Slap League.
Was that publicity or from
Must have been.
It
So
was like, oh, look at me, I can slap.
So yeah,
I could partake.
So
in this.
the inaugural slap league event that he's putting on ESPN or whatever is like next week or something. So he's gone, fuck it, I'm gonna give it a try. My wife's right here. Let's just try it out. It looks fun. So yeah, he's giving the wife an old slap on the face.
She gave him one first.
She did give him one first, to be fair.
But yeah, you should never hit your spouse.
But yeah, he is about 4 times her size.
Yeah, buddy, you can't be doing that. Yeah, it's kind of sort of a surprising thing for Dana to be caught. He's sort of the guy that's berating people in the fighting world for if they fuck up, if it's John Jones or if it's, Connor. Well, not Connor. He'll never berate Connor in his life. But yeah, if it's even like reporters like Ariel, who's having an absolute field day at the moment. Yeah, he's not one to shy away from calling people out, let's say. And he's been caught red-handed. How do you do it in public as well? Like, what are you doing? I mean, this guy...
Obviously, he didn't think it was being filmed. But
yeah, but still, I mean, you wouldn't do it at all. But, I mean, how would you get caught doing it in public? Frankly, it is pretty concerning for his health because he must be not thinking straight. But, yeah, people are calling for his resignation. Would you demand a resignation from Dana?
Honestly, I'm kind of off Dana at the moment. It's weird because I used to really like him, but I don't know because did you see he did a press conference this morning? Did you see it?
Yeah.
So yeah, he did his press conference. Where the media asked him more questions, and they were like, "Is there any punishment or something?" But it's weird because like, who's going to punish him? He has to punish himself.
Yeah,
so
he kind of he doesn't own it, but.
Yeah, and he's like, so what do you want me to do? You want me to go sit at home for 30 days? That's not a punishment. That's a punishment for the fighters. They're going to lose money.
It's a punishment for my wife. She has to bring more slaps off me.
Like, my punishment is I have to live with it the rest of my life. And then obviously Ariel reacted to it.
That's so bad.
And then he's like,
I murdered someone.
Yeah.
I shouldn't go to jail. I should live with it for the rest of my life.
What sort of world do we live in where it's like, okay, your punishment for committing a crime is just having to live with it? Like,
I shot up a school. Oh God, I've got to live with this for the rest of my life.
That's going to weigh heavily on me.
Judge, please don't send me to the death penalty. I don't need it. I deserve to think about it for the rest of my life.
Look, I could sit at home and punish myself. I could give myself a 30-day holiday and fuck off. But instead, I'll just have to live with it.
Yeah, God, so you just gotta live with it.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good look. And because Dana in the press conference, he was basically saying, when Conor McGregor's like, without me, this whole ship sinks.
Yeah.
He was basically saying that sort of same thing. Like, if I were to take a hiatus, this whole thing would fall apart.
I don't think that's true.
And it's like, I think it would honestly improve. Like,
well,
the amount of...
I think it'd be a lot better for the diehards, but I think... Look, I think Dana's a massive part of the UFC. I think a lot of people love Dana, but he's not the main show anymore.
No, he's not. But his number one thing is selling fights. He's good at selling fights. He's good at promoting fights. He's good at interviews, really. But... I reckon the amount of fights that aren't made because he's so stingy with fighter pay is a lot.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's necessarily him.
John Jones, well, I promise you, he's the one going yes and no.
Oh, okay. But I think the owners, the Saudi owners or something, have something to do with it as well.
I don't think they have anything to do with it.
Look, I don't think... I think Dana's probably he's in his villain arc, let's say, at the moment. He's not looked upon too light. He hasn't been looked upon too great by the MMA community for a while now. And I just think he does need to take a hiatus from the job. I don't think he should resign.
But I just want to see what it would look like with someone else running it.
I think a 30-day ban would actually probably be good. I don't actually think that's a bad idea. The fact that he gets suspended for it, I think if John Jones did it, do you think he'd get in the octagon next week? I don't think so. Well, when John Jones did it.
Well, yeah, now this is the precedent. It's like, if a fighter does this, they technically shouldn't be punished because...
Dana didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I definitely think he should take a month. Well, I don't want to take a month off, but I think he should definitely be, without pay, be suspended for a month from any UFC activities. Maybe... suspended to a different place to his wife. Maybe not go straight home. You don't want to have them arguing all the time. But yeah, I think, look, you do feel sorry for him in a way because of how he's talked about how it impacts his family and stuff like that. But I mean, you did it. It's not like someone else did it to your family.
And he was like, someone asked him, if you could do anything different that night, what would you do?
Nothing.
He was like, I wouldn't have gone out for sure.
Yeah,
like,
I wouldn't have.
What about hitting your wife?
You could have just gone out and not hit her. I mean, and look, I think the wife should be sort of berated as well for hitting a husband, especially first. But I think both of them are in the wrong. You can't hit your spouse. I think it's a completely wrong thing to do. And you've got to acknowledge, Dana, you're on roids, mate. You're a bit bigger than her. You've just got to walk away from that situation. And as hard as it might be, and how roided up you might be, or how drunk you might be, or how many lines you've done in the bathroom, you just got to walk away, buddy. So, yeah, look, I think he should be suspended for a month, no matter what he says. And look, I think it gives UFC, someone else within the company, a chance to promote fights and see what the future is after Dana, because Dana's not young. Dana will have to retire at some point. We don't want him to be like Bob Arum, who's 95 years old, still promoting fights. You want him sort of retire at an age where he can still speak. So yeah, you want to see what sort of young promoter that they have within the company and see if he can help promote some big time fights. Yeah. All right. Well, good on you, Dana. We'll see how you Uncle Dana bounce back. He's been on the proper 12. Uncle Dana. Unfortunately. All right. Well, we can finish quickly with NFL. Obviously, the playoffs starting this week. Yeah, Oscar's not a big NFL fan. But yeah, I'm a big Chargers fan, so we're in the playoffs, playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is the stupidest name I've ever heard for a team in my life. But still, they've got a really good quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. But yeah, it's playoff time. It's big time. This is the main part of the season for the NFL, kind of like the NBA, where you have sort of a playoff situation. However, instead of it being 7 games, you've got 1 game, so it's a win-or-go-home situation for each round. And yeah, look, I don't think my team, the Chargers, are going to be competing at the top, at the very top. But you've got the Kansas City Chiefs. Do you know Patrick Mahomes? I do. Yeah, you've got guys like that who are probably favourites at the moment. Tom Brady's in it, so that's I think the only disappointing thing was Aaron Rodgers didn't make it in the last week of the season. He shot himself in the foot. He lost to the Lions, which wasn't great. So yeah, he's not in it. But yeah, I think it's a really competitive sort of. Do you have a favourite team in the NFL? Panthers. Oh yeah, because of fucking Penrith. Well, they're shit, so unlucky. But yeah, it's probably the best time of the year for the NFL, and then it sort of follows on to the off season, and you get all the draft predictions and all that jazz. So that's fun stuff. But yeah, it should be sometime this weekend, and I'm going to be looking forward to it greatly. And the Chargers have never won a Super Bowl, so it's like the Clippers. I mean, it's time. They're not going to win though. Well, we got Justin Herbert. We got Herbert. He's such a good quarterback. Surely Tampa Bay's going to win. Well, they've been shocking this year, frankly. They're kind of like the Lakers almost. But they made it. They've got so many superstars, but they're all so old. They've got, you know who Julio Jones is? I've heard of him, yeah. Yeah, he's there. Tom Brady. Tom Brady's there. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. They've got a lot of big names there, but they are frankly very old and very shit. So, yeah, they scraped into the playoffs. It's weird in the NFL because it's based on divisions. So it's more, even though the NBA does have divisions, it's a lot more division based. The NFL. So if you win your division, you automatically get in. So if your division was shit like Tampa was, like if you win 1 game and the rest of it's impossible. But if you finish the season, I don't know, 8-9 or whatever, you can still get into the playoffs because your division was terrible. But yeah, it's be on this weekend, and hopefully the Chargers can progress. And do you watch the playoff games? I know you don't watch the regular season, but do you watch the Super Bowl? Really. If it depends. If I'm free, I might flick it on. Yeah, it's not. NFL's not a big sort of culture around here. I'm more excited for the halftime show than the game. The last year's halftime show was good, to be fair. Yeah. I hate when the Premier League try and involve like NFL fucking things. It's so annoying. It's like if it's like a Champions League final or whatever, football tries to involve like a halftime show, and it's like, bruv, get that smack out of here. But it's cool in an American sort of sport. Yeah. People obsess about the ads, but it's not in Australia because we don't have American ads. So it's like, the ads, but we don't see them.
It's just Macca's.
But that's still weird though. Oh my God, have you seen these ads? Look how cool these ads are. Like, bro, what kind of idiot are you? But yeah, Joe Burrow's in it. Look, it's very exciting for me because I'm a big NFL fan. But yeah, it's going to be tricky. There's a couple of good matchups. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, the Chargers go out winning. Why? Have you ever? Was it just the Panthers' name, or was there a different sort of motivation? Do you like a specific city in the NFL? Maybe you could root for a team in the playoffs. What's the city that you like? So the 49ers are in it. Are you a 49er?
No.
What about Kansas? Kansas City?
The Jets, are they in it?
Nope, they're shit. I mean, the Bucks are kind of like the Lakers. I mean, you could go
Dolphins,
for the Bucks.
are they in?
Yeah, they're in.
The Bills, everyone loves the Bills.
Yeah, the Buffalo Bills. That is a cool name. The Buffalo Bills.
Danny Rick follows the Bills.
Yeah, they're a really tough-nosed fan base, probably the best fan base in the NFL. But yeah, they're a really good team this year. I think they're the second seed, I believe. So yeah, hopefully they do well, and hopefully the Chargers do better though. So, praying to God. And last thing before we
wrap it up.
Do you want me to go into it?
No, I don't.
Well, look,
no,
just forewarning us.
We don't need to go into.
He's
it.
on. My man.
There's no point in doing this. It's stupid.
Well, it's just
we'll just finish it.
You don't want to go into the Tinder?
No, I don't.
Well, you don't want me to tell the entire podcast that you're on Tinder.
Yeah.
You don't want me to go into that?
No.
Well, I will anyway.
Thanks for listening.
My friend over here is on Tinder, and he's a great guy. He's 6'3", which he puts in his profile just to make sure that he gets as much matches as possible. Hasn't had that much success as of recent. I could use a 16-year-old term here. His Riz is not immaculate at this current moment, but look, we all have improvement in our lives, and hopefully he improves and he can find a lovely girl. If you're a viewer, if you see him on Tinder, just say hello to him. He'll disappoint you in many ways. But yeah, just give him. he's walking off. But yeah, hope you enjoy the podcast. Follow him on Tinder. Look, he's got a very recognizable face. I don't need to say his name. Look at it. I mean, he's probably the most distinguished face I've ever seen in my life. He's a very famous guy as well. So yeah, he's 6'3" again. Just to clarify, and check him out on Tinder. ¿Cómo estás? I don't know what I just said, but anyway, bye-bye, everyone. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, follow, listen on multiple platforms. We got Spotify out there. We got Instagram out there. We got YouTube out there. Just follow us. And hope you enjoyed the podcast. Hasta la vista, baby.